All right, the purpose of this video is to provide my opinion of the results of the election, which Donald Trump won. He's our new president, President-elect Donald Trump, uh, and to go over my understanding and why I think the Electoral College is vitally important and why having a popular vote to decide the president is idiotic. First of all, the results of the election. If you break down how Trump won the election, he won it based on the turnout of the working class, um, Reagan Democrats, so to speak. He won in rural areas. He won in working class areas, um, and that was to be expected. We knew the Democrats, whose voting bloc consists of uh, dead people, illegal immigrants, felons in Virginia, which Trump almost won, and people that have um, devotion to the government and welfare and government handouts, and don't have devotion to actually prospering on their own and having careers of their own and trying to get a job and work their way up and be their own individual person. So that's how I feel about that. Um, I think the results of the election are a referendum on the rejection of socialism and liberalism that's been spreading like wildfire in this country. Um, Many people in this country, including myself, don't want that. We conservatives, we believe in individual liberty, less taxes, less regulations, and less big government, less bureaucracy. We believe in the power of the individual, and we believe that prosperity of an individual comes from their self, and other things definitely not from the government. Really quickly, I'm going to talk about the Electoral College because you probably can't go to work right now or go to school or go out somewhere without hearing somebody say, well, we should pick the president based on the popular vote. Oh, really? So you're saying that 51% of people anywhere in the country should control 49% of people? Yes, I think that's fair, and that's how Hillary should be president. Yeah, and it takes about an IQ of 5 to come up with that, and to think that we should just have a 51% mob of people controlling 49%. So you basically want Chicago and New York City and Los Angeles to pick the president. Well, yes, that's what I think. But you live in Dayton. Well, that doesn't matter. Well, it does matter because small states happen to actually play a vital role in our country. We have states with small populations that provide us with things like coal, natural gas, and then you have states that feed us. They provide food, and they may not have dense populations, but they are vitally important to our country. So the Electoral College, the basic principle of it is to give a voice to smaller states. Okay, the electoral map, as you look at it, there's 538 possible electorates that are divvied out to the presidential candidates. That number comes from the 535 members of Congress, 100 senators, 2 per state, and 435 House members, and then D.C. gets 3. So basically, how each state gets its number of electorates is each state starts with 3 automatically right off the bat, and then it goes off population. And in order to compensate for the smaller population states, the larger states have to give up some of their electorates to the smaller states to make it equal. So you have a place like Wyoming, who has 140,000 people per electorate, which is a pretty good ratio. And you have California, who has over 500,000 people per electorate, which is a smaller ratio. It gives a voice to smaller states. Like I said, if you have a popular vote, and you don't have an electoral college, you have large metropolitan areas determining the fate of the entire nation, which is not what the framers intended in picking our president. Um, Another thing, if you just had a popular vote, you would have candidates that are just visiting metropolitan areas with dense populations. They wouldn't go to states with less people because there'd be no point because they'd have no pull in the election. And like I was saying earlier, this is extremely important. Smaller states have their interests too, as opposed, Iowa might have different interests than New York per se, because there's different things that they provide, there's different issues that their people have, and if you just based it off of dense populations, the people in the smaller, densely populated areas wouldn't have a say in the election. Um, so that's the way I see it. Um, it's a tireless argument. It's always brought up when Democrats lose, just like when Al Gore lost to George Bush in 2000, and he went to the Florida Supreme Court and tried to have them overturn it and swing the election. The Electoral College works, and it works very well. It's been adjusted a few times over the history of our nation, but its main goal, which has been to not provide, and let me explain real quick. When you cast your vote at the ballot box, you're not specifically casting a vote for that candidate. But what you're doing is you're providing the vote tally in the state that the electors of that state take into account when they meet in December to cast their votes for the president. Meaning, Ohio has 18 electors. They go and they take Trump won the popular vote in Ohio by a large margin, like 400,000. So those 18 electors cast their vote for Donald Trump. He gets 18 electors from Ohio. So yes, your vote does matter. Unlike what some people say, that your vote doesn't matter and the Electoral College needs to go. No, the Electoral College is very important. Thank you.